Well, Father James Martin, SJ, has been in the news recently. He went on a Twitter tear and he wrote this on Twitter. Dear friends, today Pope Francis received me for a private 30-minute audience in the Apostolic Palace, where I shared with him the joys and hopes and griefs and anxieties of LGBT Catholics and LGBT people worldwide. This is a multi-part thread on Twitter. He went on, I was so grateful to meet with this wonderful pastor. The only other person in the room during our meeting was his translator. Unquote. 30 minutes worth of visit. It would literally take the Holy Father 30 seconds to answer the 5 dubia questions. True or false, yes or no format. Compare this to the treatment of the 86-year-old retired Cardinal Zen of Hong Kong, who had to wait in the crowd of Wednesday audience members before getting an exchange with the Pope, whom Cardinal Zen believes is badly handling the Chinese Patriotic Church disaster. The location is significant too. The Apostolic Palace is usually reserved for heads of state, meetings with presidents, monarchs, high-ranking cardinals. There they were, chatting away, grinning, cameras snapping every minute of it. Again, according to America Magazine, Father Martin had met Pope Francis twice before. Once in 2016 at the Domus Sanctae Marthae, where the Pope lives, and again last week when the Pope greeted members of the Plenary Assembly of the Holy See's Dicastery for Communications. So this was his 3rd meeting. Father Martin was appointed as a consultant in the same department back in 2017 and headlined the World Meeting of Families in Dublin, Ireland. It's significant to note that his Jesuit superiors have never reprimanded him or asked him to stop confusing the faithful. The superior of the Jesuit order, Father Arturo Sosa, does not believe Satan is an actual evil spirit, but merely a symbol of systemic evil. And Father Sosa's boss in Rome is a man by the name of Pope Francis, so this is where we're at. Now, outgoing Archbishop Charles Chaput of Philadelphia did rebuke Father Martin. He wrote, at the same time, a pattern of ambiguity in his teachings tends to undermine his stated aims, alienating people from the very support they need for authentic human flourishing. Due to the confusion caused by his statements and activities regarding same-sex-related LGBT issues, I find it necessary to emphasize that Father Martin does not speak with authority on behalf of the Church, and to caution the faithful about some of his claims. Archbishop Chaput goes on, in his book, Building a Bridge, Father Martin writes, for a teaching to be really authoritative, it is expected that it will be received by the people of God. From what I can tell, in the LGBT community, the teaching that LGBT people must be celibate their entire lives has not been received, unquote. I guess it has to be received. It doesn't even have to be agreed with. You just have to receive it, and by some magical process, I don't know, it's not explained what receiving it means. Certainly, people around the world know what the Catholic Church teaches about that behavior, so we don't really know what received means yet. Bishop Rick Stika of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Bishop Rick Stika of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Bishop Thomas Paprocki of Springfield, Illinois, did back up Archbishop Chaput in writing, which is great. But there are 433 active and retired archbishops in the U.S. Why would only 1 or 2 speak out against Father Martin, and a couple more provide public backup? And why is it always the same tiny, less than 1% handful of bishops willing to engage the behavioral heart of the priestly abuse scandal? Has Pope Francis ever isolated the behavioral heart of the scandal and taught clearly on it? What is a scandal anyway? It's kind of an old-fashioned word used by fuddy-duddies, isn't it? Well, St. Thomas Aquinas defines it this way. While going along the spiritual way, a man may be disposed to a spiritual downfall by another's word or deed, insofar, to wit, as one man by his injunction, inducement, or example moves another to sin, and this is scandal properly so called. The Greek word skandalon means a trap or snare laid for an enemy, and in the New Testament, it's a metaphor for a stumbling block. So the question becomes, which is the greater scandal? The behavior that destroys young lives, and the soft defenders of that behavior by influencers like Father James Martin, or the failure of the official teachers of the faith to address it with clarity? Subscribe to this channel. Check out the Patrick Coffin Show podcast, which drops every Tuesday morning. And get on the waiting list for Coffin Nation, the largest online community of culture builders. Don't miss a thing. Love to hear your comments. In the meantime, be a saint. What else is there?